The paramount chief and the Adbubumefia of the Asogli state, Togbe Afede XIV, has hit back at critics who say he only attended 16% of meetings of the Council of State, hence does not deserve the 365,000 cedis ex gratia he returned to the state. In an exclusive interview with Jaw News, the revered chief said, on the contrary, he's been very active at the Council of State. Togbe Afede further noted that the number of people nominated by the president to be on the Council of State leaves much to be desired. He says it makes it difficult for the body to be independent. The former Council of State member was applauded on social media for returning his ex gratia, which he described as inappropriate. But what many see as a patriotic gesture has equally generated some criticism. So what does he make of the backlash? Well, he spoke to us.
You know, I was filing my tax returns towards the end of last year, and I received tax receipts from the GRA that showed that some reductions were effected from monies paid to me in July that I wasn't aware of. So I decided, wow, let me find out. You know, of course, I was having my own financial difficulties at the time for responsibility. So I thought, wow, this is great news. I've got some money in. But then I decided to find out where the money was coming from. You know, so I first went to my bankers to confirm the money was there. But it was described generally as salary ex gratia, and I didn't know what that meant. I decided to probe and understand where it was coming from. So I found that a chunk of that money was in respect of ex gratia, okay, that was due me, and that was 365,000 Ghana cedis plus. Of course, my joy turned to sadness because I knew there was no way I wanted to spend that kind of money. I was very surprised about the sheer quantum of money that I was going to be paid. And I thought that for 4 years' work, that in all honesty was part-time work. You know, I did not think that it merited this amount of extra reward after I've enjoyed monthly, you know, salaries. Of course, the other privileges, whether I enjoyed them or not, is neither here nor there, but they're supposed to be there. You know, some free medical care for those who wanted it, and which I didn't enjoy. You know, but I thought the salaries were more than enough. So I decided right and then, and there was no way I could spend that money. That money must go back to government. You see, there may be good reason to pay ex gratia, you know, awards or end of service awards to certain categories of government workers, public workers. For example, parliamentarians may have to leave whatever they were doing to serve the nation for a period, okay? So if they will no more return to parliament, there may be the need to give some end of service benefits. How much should be given is subject to, you know, a bit of analysis, okay, that will respect also the situation in our country and the plight of the average Ghanaian. Some people must not be made to look like a different class of people. But coming to my particular case, the Council of State's work is part-time work by mostly retired citizens. Is what I'm saying. You know, Council of State work should not take you away from what you already have been doing, okay? And therefore, it's not a case that you need to be compensated at the end of it all when you are like being thrown out of job. You see, so I do not think that the work that I did merited it. But let me assure you, I was one of the most active participants in the Council of State, and I was chairman of the Economy and Special Development Initiatives Committee, which never met without me. Okay. So I was one of the most active participants in our general meetings, and I led the team on the Economy and Special Development Initiatives. But nonetheless, I cannot deny the fact that it was part-time work. It wasn't full-time work. And I think that after 4 years, I deserved a colossal 365,000 Ghana cedis. That's a big man. That's a big amount of money.
You talk about how active you were in the Council of State. Are you surprised in the midst of all the applause, the lone voice criticizing you, saying that you only participated in 16% of the meetings? Are you surprised?
Well, I was shocked that I was very shocked that Mr. Padomochi, of all people, who knew me very, very well, was a frequent visitor to my office many years ago, knew how I work, okay, and always commended the quality of my work. I recall when I was Chamber on Ghana in 2003, about the way they were, determining, interest rates, the effects of which we are still seeing today. He got very interested and tried to host Ghana and I in a national TV debate. Of course, the 2 invitations Ghana declined, so I did it alone. So he knew me very well. Surprising that he, of all people, and I don't want to go into details, would be the one to, want to criticize me. But why am I not surprised? Because he had done something similar before. When I was fighting Ejepa, he granted an interview to the Minister of Finance and sought to denigrate me even in that interview by saying that I was an employee of Keneforiata. When I drew his attention, he apologized. That no, he knew I was the founder of Data Bank. I said, then why do you present it as if I was an employee of Keneforiata? Again, when we were having a debate about, the referendum that had to be aborted, he again tried to criticize me. It's surprised that he, of all people, when I say he of all people, he will be surprised. He will know why I'm saying I didn't expect that from he of all people. But unfortunately, some people live by their, focus on their stomachs in the kind of things that they do. So, given my recent experience, I would say I'm not too surprised. My surprise would come from, or indeed came from the misrepresentation. You can criticize me. You can criticize my opinions, but don't tell lies. You understand?
He told lies in the presentation.
Don't say, for instance, that Togbe presented himself as coming from Ho to the Council of State and enjoyed transport allowances when he knew it's not true. He knew that by my character, I could never do something like that. I am a resident of Accra. I'm not one of those who pretend not to live in Accra and enjoy government hotel facilities when they are working or enjoy transportation allowances. I'm not that type. He knows. So that part hurts me. And also the suggestion that I was most of the time absent from Council of State meetings.
You attended only 16% of the meetings.
Also hurt me because it's not true. And he knows that it's not true. So that level of dishonesty hurts me. That level of wickedness, that I took an exception to. You can criticize me, you can say you didn't see why I should return the money, but don't back your arguments with falsehood. That part I take a strong exception to. I know that our country, the truth is no more accepted by the people we are talking to. So with all the debates and all the confusion, sometimes I have to know what the truth is because of characters like this, who will sit as black and still say it's white. So whatever I do, I know people criticize. Even this donation I made today, people criticize. But if I want to worry about criticisms, then I can't do anything. So I'll continue doing myself, say what I have to say, do what I have to do for the cause of the country's progress and development.
Togbe, finally, in that letter that you released, you stated that as a general principle, you actually abhor outrageous, payments, especially for persons who, out of their own volition, decide to serve their country. What do you make of calls for the scrapping of the Council of State?
Council of State is a nice proposition, okay, that has been messed up by the composition, you understand, and if it can be made to meet the expectations of the framers of our Constitution, it can be a good addition to, you know, the various organs and institutions of states that are there to further the cause of our democracy and our development. Okay, but the composition of the council, the number of members that are appointed by the president, leaves a lot to be desired. You want a council that is strong, that is independent in thought and in action, and that can give right advice to those who need that advice, as opposed to merely endorsing what comes before them. So it's a great concept, you know. It must be made to meet the expectations of the framers of law, of the Constitution, vis-a-vis again, you know, further the cause of our democracy, further the cause of, you know, our development, within the context of the various principles on which our Constitution is built: fairness, you know, equal access to opportunity, you know, and etc. So basically, it's a good concept, but it needs to be handled properly.